بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له والصلاة والسلام على حبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Dear respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have been gathered here for the past 14 nights, and tonight inshallah will be the last night that we're together here. I will be with you, of course. Tomorrow we have the celebration of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, and then we'll continue with Sayyid al-Qazwini inshallah when he arrives. But as we were talking in these 40 nights, we have been building up a methodology in which a person can protect himself. A person can build a form of some talents, some new habits for he or she could use them in their attainment of taqwa, of piety. Tonight's verses that I would like to leave you with are the verses from Surah Al-Asr. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal-Asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu as-salihat. وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. These few verses, they give us the guidelines for perfecting ourselves and attaining a better person within us. Wal-Asr, Allah Azza wa Jal starts by swearing verily by time. Because time is the most valuable thing that we have, as we discussed in the past several nights. Time, if you do not invest it, if you do not use it, you burn it, you waste it. But the problem with wasting time, dear brothers and sisters, it is directly related to wasting your own self. Burning your own self, because this time is made for you. It is your time. It is the time that you are put on earth for you to invest so you can build yourself. And here you're destroying it, therefore you're destroying yourself. The makeup and the relationship between time and the self is very intricate. Because when one sees that anything he or she needs to do or wants to do, they need to do it within the time given to them, allotted to them, within their ability. They need to have that time. If you don't have it, you cannot do anything. Allah Azza wa Jal says, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Verily, most surely man is in loss. Meaning, if it was left up to the human being alone, without the directive given to him by Allah Azza wa Jal, we would be in loss. We would have wasted the time, burned our time, completely made it useless. But there's an exception. Life is downhill except إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Those who have faith and did good deeds. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. They enjoy with patience, with truth and patience. Now, Allah Azza wa Jal describes in these verses the state of a human being. After all these 14 nights that we have been talking, I want to ask you, what is the challenge that I presented to you? The challenge of being amongst those إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, except for those who believe وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. But Allah right away, He links belief with enjoining the truth, tawassaw bil haqq, and doing good with what? Enjoining patience. You cannot do good and be productive if you're not patient. I'm going to talk briefly about it tonight. And you cannot have true faith without knowing the truth. And dear brothers and sisters, Allah Azza wa Jal says that this faith, when I say إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, what is faith? Is it enough to say I believe in God and that's it? Is it enough to say I believe in Him? See, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, لَيْسَ الْإِيمَانُ بِالتَّحَلِّ وَلَا بِالتَّمَنِّي. Faith doesn't come by wishing and hoping. وَلَكِنَّ الْإِيمَانُ مَا خَلُصَ فِي الْقَلْبِ. It's what was purified in the heart, وَصَدَّقَتْهُ الْأَعْمَالِ, and shown through the action. Two things. You need to make sure this faith has its roots in the heart, and then your actions are accordingly. Now, when you love someone, when you love something, automatically this love that we have been talking about in the past few nights has some signs. Let's look at these signs. When you like someone versus when you love someone, the love is a stronger bond between you and something else. And the more the love is towards that, the more you'll do things towards it. An example, we take the companions of Imam Hussein sallallahu ta'ala alayhi on the day of Muharram, the 10th of Muharram, in the land of Karbala. What happened? We have an example of Abis. Abis was a companion of the Imam alayhi salam. Abis, when he went down to fight in the battlefield, the people knew, the enemies of God knew who Abis was. Abis was a very known warrior. When he fought, no one stood before him. So Abis went down to fight, everyone ran away. But Abis wanted to fight for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal to defend Imam Hussein alayhi salam. See, the love, because of the faith he had in Imam Hussein alayhi salam, in the Imam of the time, had to manifest somehow, some way. It had to be shown. It was not enough for him to say, I love you, O Imam Hussein. When we read the dua, when we do the ziyarat, when we listen to the majalis, the sessions, what do we say? We say, Ya laytana kunna ma'akum fanafuza fawzan azima. We wish we were with you, Ahlul Bayt, and we would be therefore victorious. Abis, when he was on the battlefield, he saw Imam Hussein alayhi salam. When no one was with Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Imam Hussein alayhi salam stood on the grounds of Karbala. He said, Ala min nasiri yansuruna. Is there anyone that would aid us, that would help us? Ala min mu'ini yu'inuna. Anyone there to help us. Why? The enemies of Allah Azza wa Jal, they hated, they had a problem with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Why? Their faith, they were missing their faith. See, their faith in Allah Azza wa Jal is certainly questioned, because once you see that who represents Allah on earth, that is the Imam of the time, and you're fighting him, it means you're fighting Allah Azza wa Jal. So whether you believe in him or not means nothing, because in practicality, on earth, what are you doing? In reality, you're fighting Allah Azza wa Jal. So it's not good enough. The enemies of Allah Azza wa Jal in the land of Karbala, with Yazid, with the Ibn Ziyad, yes, they said Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, but did they act on it? No. We see individuals like Abis on the camp of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, when he went down to the battlefield and he rushed through, the enemies of God, they completely stayed behind. And some ran away. Why? وَيْحَكُمْ إِنَّهُ عَابِسٌ. Woe unto you, this is Abis fighting. Abis at that point, he saw every time he moves forward with his sword, no one is coming forward to fight him. And he needed to show that he is fighting for his Imam all the time. That he is standing for the truth. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. They say Abis let go of his shield, let go of his sword, and with his bare hands and arms, he started going and trying to grab them and fight them. Of course, they were with the swords. They were trying to attack Abis. Why? Because Abis had that faith that created the drive. That faith that created the movement within himself. That faith that showed to himself he will not ever have doubt in the cause of his Imam. I want you to ask yourselves, in our relationship, now who is the Imam of our time? Al-Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. He is our 12th holy Imam, Sahib al-Asr al-Zaman. Some of us don't know him well. And when we don't know him well, we're missing a big part of our faith. We're missing a big part of our existence. We're missing a big part of our life. As a matter of fact, our lives are incomplete when it comes for us missing the Imam in it. If you miss the Imam alayhi salam in your life, it means your life is incomplete. As a matter of fact, you will never taste true happiness. The first thing when you wake up, do you say Assalamu alayka ya sahib al-asr wal-zaman? And the last thing when you go to sleep, do you say Assalamu alayka ya sahib al-asr wal-zaman? Dear brothers and sisters, little things, small things that you do in your life will change your entire life. Try starting your day with the greetings and salutations to the Imam of the time. Don't we say that, Ya laytana, we wish we were with you, Ahlul Bayt. Where is Ahlul Bayt today? Where is the Imam from my life today? Where is Imam Hussein? Why is it that I only weep on Imam Hussein alayhi salam, yet I forget the Imam of the time tonight? Because Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he was martyred in Karbala, so we can live within the authority of the Imam, so we can build that relationship with our Imam. So when we weep and cry and shed the tears on Imam Hussein alayhi salam, but you examine your relationship with the Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, and it's a very fragile relationship. It means what? When you cry to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, your tears are not mixed with the truth. They are emotional tears for an event that took place 1400 years ago. But when you know the Imam of the time, Al-Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, and the Imam, he is amongst us, this perfect human being. The Imam of the time, he is amongst us, he sees what we do. And our work and what we do is shown to him, and he is aware of everything each and every one of you does. And do not start questioning and saying, how is that? Just because we don't know the mechanism does not mean it doesn't happen. As a matter of fact, we can talk about the mechanism. But briefly, I want to mention this. Al-Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman, our 12th holy Imam, that we build that faith, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, it's important to realize his role in this month. Let me elaborate on this a little bit. With Imam Hussein alayhi salam, we heard what happened in Karbala. With Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, we know his lifetime. within Imam al-Hasan salamullahi ta'ala alayhi. We're going to celebrate him tomorrow. And we have Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam, and Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, and Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and Imam al-Qam alayhi salam, all the way. We know each and every one of them. What happened, what did they do, how was their life? My question to you, today, right this moment, right now, there is an Imam alive. There is an Imam of the time, like at the time of Karbala, there was Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Like at the time of Imam Ali was the Imam of the time. Right this moment, right this instant, right now, there is an Imam alive. Let me ask you, personally right now, and I want your undivided attention on this. I need you to focus with me on this issue. Do you feel His presence in your life? And not you trying to think of Him. No, without trying to think of Him. Do you first think of the Imam alayhi salam being around you? Because the Imam is the perfect human being on earth, the representative of Allah Azza wa Jalla. It's through Him this universe is functioning. Yes, this individual, under his authority, the entire universe. لولا الإمام, the hadith said, لَسَاخَتِ الْأَرْضُ بِمَا عَلَيْهَا. The earth with what's on it would cease to exist without the presence of the Imam. There is this uniqueness. See how the sun is the center of our galaxy? See how the sun is needed for our galaxy to last. Our earth without the sun would completely lose orbit and havoc would take place. So, like the sun for the galaxy, the Imam for the universe. There is the importance and the power of the one existence that attracts the universe to it and holds the power, and through it that its presence gives life to the entire universe. My question to you is, what's your relationship with that person? What's your bond with that individual? That individual whose presence, whose life, our lives depend on. And he is considered the gateway to Allah for us. Meaning, we need to direct ourselves towards Him. We need to make sure we address Him. Now, Al-Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman alayhi salam, there are requirements for us to be from his followers. For us to be of those who follow the Imam. And we know, we get involved and we get interested in that 12th Holy Imam when they talk about the signs of the time. You've heard so many times saying, oh, nowadays, these are the signs of the 12th Holy Imam's appearance. They insist, people may insist that this is the time he will appear. Let me make something clear to you. Based on our narratives, every generation gets the opportunity to be those who are with the Imam of the time. It's not if the Imam alayhi salam is ready for his appearance, for us to see him. No. The question is, are we ready for him? Not if he's ready for us. It's not that the Imam alayhi salam is trying to perfect himself and trying to build himself. No, the Imam is ready. But are we ready for him to appear amongst us and lead the way for us? See, with us or not, the Imam alayhi salam, he is the one that is keeping everything in control. And if it wasn't for the Imam alayhi salam, you would be seeing more and more of these atrocities happening everywhere in the world. Today, dear brothers and sisters, so many different things happening around the globe. You as an individual, what's your relationship? What's your role in this that is happening around today. If I disconnect myself as an individual from what's happening around me, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, it is not considered a Muslim that who goes to sleep not worrying about other Muslims around him or her. We need to think about our Muslim brothers everywhere in the world. What's happening to them? We need to be very understanding, aware of what is happening, the reasons, the depth of the problems, what is going on. We cannot be naive, specifically today, specifically in today's world, dear brothers and sisters. But what's more important, you and I should not only know. See, our Imam alayhi salam, in this time, when we say we're awaiting for him to appear, how do we wait for our Imam? Is it so passive that we sit back and we do nothing? See, today each and every one, dear brothers and sisters, has so much potential. You can change the world. But you need to have the intent and you need to have the focus on what is it you want to do. And you can move mountains if you decide. The problem that I see in many of us is that we lack focus and direction, and therefore we don't know what is it we want to move, what direction we want to move things to. And it's so important that before we get engaged in any of these actions, that we build ourselves and build our capacity and ability to move things, to understand things. Let me explain this. Today in this world, in this what's happening around us, you as an individual, what is your goal? Is it that you only go to school, get your degree, and then get married and open a house and have children, and that's it? Anyone can do that. Any person from any religion, from any group, from anywhere in the world can do that. What makes you different than anyone else? What makes you unique? How is it that you related to the Imam alayhi salam, and the Imam of the time being in your life makes you as a person different? What is it that you have done so far to humanity, that changes you have made, that distinguishes you from everyone? What is it? Not only what have you done, what do you plan on doing? What are your dreams for the future? Allah, when He says, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ, verily, man is in loss. Why? His time is wasted. While some people, their time means what? Hope, change. They influence. Their time matters. Their time matters. Your time, adi. It's okay. You're gonna waste it. Let's go, just waste the time. We're gonna sleep in, wake up late, and we'll get to doing whatever we want later on. What is it that we do today? What did you do in your life, in your day, that was part of the big change, the big picture you intend to do? If each and every one of us, because let me tell you, the power of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, their thought and belief, their ideas and principles is what? What makes us lovers of Imam Ali? What makes us lovers of Hussein? What is it that we love about Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? What made us so infatuated with the personality, the character of the Holy Prophet and the Holy Imam? Why are we so in love with them? Why is it man 1400 years ago lived until today? You mention him and you see life coming into our souls because of the name Ali. Why is it when we say Ya Muhammad, we reignite and spark all that we can be as a human being to to be like Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Why? What is the power of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? What is the power of Imam Ali? What is the power of Imam al-Hassan and Imam al-Hussein? And what is the power of Lady Zahra alayhi salam that we are today, until today, we are so attracted to them, we love them. That attraction keeps our lives going, gives life to our life. Where does this come from? One single thing, that these individuals, Al-Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and Imam Ali alayhi salam, the power of love that they emit and we receive, it's because they are men of principles. They are individuals who live life based on principles. Look at Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib sallallahu ta'ala alayhi. Look at each and every one of the imams. But what is more powerful is the imam of the time, and he being the center of the universe, the source of all our principles, how much attraction we have towards that imam and from that imam. Dear brothers and sisters, that love of Ahlul Bayt is the grid that holds us all together. Imagine today, there is a cover that is being held from right to left. Imagine this. And each and every one of you is holding that cover. And because each one of you is holding the cover is over all our heads. This cover is like a grid that pulls us together, that keeps us together. That's the unifying principle. Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam are not just individuals. Ahlul Bayt are standards. Ahlul Bayt are principles. Ahlul Bayt are ideas. Ahlul Bayt is life. Ahlul Bayt is something we live by. But you cannot live by something unless this idea, it transcends through you and it becomes you. And that is why when you love them, you cannot take anything except them. Because that is them is pure love, pure principles that will get the best out of who we are to make the best out of who we can become. Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, dear brothers and sisters, is the key to understanding the true meaning of Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And that is why we are infatuated in love with Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, because they are the key to the most important principle that governs the universe, the principle of Tawheed, the principle of Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And this principle cannot be understood truly, clearly without Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, in their words and in their action, in their talk and in their walk. And you see that Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullahi ta'ala alayhi, when he did what he did, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in all of his life, it was about one thing: Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Dear brothers and sisters, you and I today are part of this grid. Give me your attention on these final thoughts that I want to wrap our nights with. You and I are part of this grid, part of this human network. Do you understand this human network? This powerful human network, the community of the lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. It brings us all together under one principle: Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. It doesn't matter where you're from, whether you're Lebanese, Iraqi, Yemeni, Kuwaiti, Saudi, it doesn't matter to me. Why? We come together under one principle. The principle, let the guard down, brought us together. The principle, it drove that affinity between you and I, that bond between you and I, because you and I want to build ourselves on the same idea. The idea and the principle of Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. So this grid, when I look at myself in the big picture, the picture of the human network that makes up the community of the 12 holy Imam alayhi salam, I ask myself, what is my role in keeping this community alive? Because this community has a larger responsibility towards the greater community, all of mankind, all of humanity. The thing that is so different about the human network and the community of the 12 Holy Imam, that it cares about all of humanity. It does not only care about itself. It cares about everyone around it. The question is, what role are you playing in your own sphere? To yourself and in connection to everyone else, to maintain and strengthen that community. Because if you think you're living in a vacuum, disconnected from everyone else, you're fooling yourself. You're lying to yourself. Or you're failing yourself. The question that I need you to leave with tonight, ask yourself, I am a person with a lot of potential. I am a person who can move mountains. I'm an individual who has the Quran to learn from and gain principles from. I'm an individual who can learn from Ahlul Bayt and their lives. I am part of this human network that spans the entire universe, from east to west. Sometimes we don't know them. Sometimes we cannot identify them, but their actions speak for them. The question is, no matter how young you are, no matter how old you are, my question to you is, what have you done to, number one, understand this network, this community? What have you done to strengthen this community? What have you done to advance and push forward this community? Let me tell you one thing. In this community, there's diversity. One of my friends described us like this. We're like a ray of light. Us followers of Ahlul Bayt are like a ray of light. Once that light hits a prism, it opens up into the colors of the rainbow. We come in different colors. That is what followers of Ahlul Bayt are. We come in different colors, but we all are united in principle around Ahlul Bayt around the concept of Tawheed. There is no principle called the principle of Ahlul Bayt, but there is a principle called the principle of Tawheed. Ahlul Bayt is the safeguard for the Tawheed, the principle of Tawheed. There is the principle of wilayah. What is wilayah? To give authority and to give allegiance to that who is supporting Tawheed. Every concept in Islam, from beginning to end, is around Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And today, dear brothers and sisters, I want you to think about you as an individual. What have you done to this human network? You know, when you read the books, open a book and read it. Today there's so much knowledge out there. How many of you, let me see, raise your hand. How many of you like reading or love reading? Raise your hand. MashaAllah. Okay, good. Let me ask you, have you read, we're in mid-year right now, in July. Have you read, or do you read maybe at least a book a month? Raise your hand if you at least read a book a month. Okay, read 2 books every month. Well, that's good, that's great. What we need to do is when we read, spend the time reading, understanding, and discussing things with each other. We need to increase the relationship between and amongst ourselves to help each other understand further and advance ourselves. Dear brothers and sisters, it is absolutely important that you and I, this fabric of this community, the individual units, that we come together, we help each other, although we have differences. Let me make it clear. You are not the same person that you were yesterday. You're different from the person that is sitting on your right, to your right and to your left. And the strength we have is in these differences. We have something that brings us all together. But there are things that make us unique, each and every one of us. What brings us together, we need to hold tight. What makes us unique, we need to make sure we respect and diversify. Because this is how we learn from one another. This is how we add to one another. I learn from your perception. You learn from my perception. We don't have to agree on everything. The strength of the community of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam is what? In how they accept one another. Regardless of who you follow. Regardless of where you come from. Regardless of all these differences. It's important that we have one person ultimately that pulls us together today and now. It is our 12th Holy Imam. And his book of principles is the Holy Quran. So here we have a choice today. I want to leave you with thinking about your choices. What can you do to advance yourself and the community you're living in? You have been given great opportunities. Opportunities to change the world. You've been given on one hand the Quran, on another hand Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. They feed you to change you, to give you the ability to learn to become better. You will be responsible on the Day of Judgment because you'll be asked, what have you done to the trust that I have given you? Dear brothers and sisters, it has been really an experience in these nights as I learned from you, from the discussions I had with each and every one of you, as I listened to you. Some of you, a lot of you emailed, discussed things. It's been a great learning from one another. We need to make sure that this community stays vibrant in its ability to learn and teach. We need to make sure that we support one another, that we become this fabric that is so strong, nothing can tear it apart. Why? Because it's so strong. But how do we strengthen something that you're part of? See, if someone says they tore it apart, it means that you're not part of it. But can someone say they tore us apart? It means I did something wrong because I did not pull strong enough to keep this community together, to build it stronger. And this community spans the east and the west, the north and the south. This community is everywhere. This community does not know difference in distance. This community communicates with thoughts. This community acts with the speed of thought. This community is so powerful because the one thought that brings it together is Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And that's why when we say Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and we say Ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah, because they are pinning down further, deeper, stronger, clearer, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. This Shahr Ramadan, you have a very important night coming, the night of great night of power. You know, some people complain, my God, we have so many different ayat. We cannot even find out when we start Shahr Ramadan. We're always different. I'm like, people, what's wrong with you? What is wrong? Why are you complaining? These are Allah's blessings. He gave you, instead of 1, 2, 3 nights of power, now you have even more. Why not? Don't fall victim to these things that want to shred that fabric. Anytime someone tells you something that you think, hold on, it may be shredding and tearing that fabric, push it away and say, no, my fabric, I'm part of it, I'm going to pull it together. I'm not going to allow anyone to tear my fabric of the community that I'm part of. Because why? My Imam is looking at me right now, and he's listening to me, and he's expecting me to do something. The expectation of the Imam do not fail him. And that's why we have the night of power. The night of power let me give you a small example. I'll end with this. The night of power is a very important night. Let me give you a description of how it is. Imagine we all have a cell phone, right? I need this cell phone to be up and running. It has a new software, a new release, because it has all the great functionalities in it. What happens? This software is somewhere in this vast earth. There's a server, there's a device that holds that software. But that software, many different people connect to it and download it. And each and every place, every tower around the city, you know, there are towers that are connecting these things together. And at one instant, this software is pushed to each and every device. You upgrade your system, and it tells you all of the potential, the functionalities you have. Now, do you use every function in the software? Did you use every single function on your cell phone? No, the software has so many functions, you only use some of them. Well, here's the power. On the night of power, dear brothers and sisters, the great night of power, something extremely powerful takes place. The upper domains with the lower domains, العالم العلوي والعالم الدنيوي, they link together. They never disconnect. But this link is unique. And the link between the two domains are the Imam of the times. And something enormous takes place. إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ. The night of power is more important, better than 1,000 months. تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ فِيهَا. The angels and that specific creature called the Ruh is descending down بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ مِنْ كُلِّ أَمْرٍ, with the command of their Lord, with every issue. There is you can say, a software transfer from the upper domain to the lower domains to each and every one of us. Now, how much of it do we receive is based on our abilities and what we have done to ourselves to receive that update. So you need to be in a state to receive things from Allah Azza wa Jal. It's through Sahih Asr wa Zaman. The key on that night, تنزل, on who does it come down? We have plethora of hadith, of narratives. It says at-tanazzul on that night is on the Imam of the time. That is, through him, this software is updated to all of us. Dear brothers and sisters, the grand night of power has such an immense meaning and has such an immense effect on each and every one of us. We need to be prepared, but the preparation is where? It's right up here. Our state of mind should be at its best. Our state of heart should be open to receive. And then, the people we are, part of that fabric, to strengthen the community, to prepare for the time of awaiting the Imam Sallallahu Ta'ala. I leave that to you. And with you. What you do with it is your choice. Don't let the time pass and then on the day of judgment you say, Ya hasrata ala man. You woe unto yourself for what you have wasted in this life. You're given everything. All you need to do is move towards it. And you take one step forward to it, Allah will take a mile towards you. The question is, what will you do? Because He's already doing things for you. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal this guidance and forgiveness, for we all need it. I ask Him to show us in this time of our 12th Holy Imam, to show us the path, the true path, the real path. And let us end with this very brief supplication. Allahumma kun li waliyika al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan salawatuka alayhi wa ala abaihi. Everyone, fi hadhihi as-sa'a wa fi kulli sa'a وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. إلهي, let us ask Allah Azza wa Jal. Bika ya Allah, Bika ya Allah, Bika ya Allah, Bika ya Allah, Bika ya Allah. Let us ask Allah Azza wa Jal for the sake of the Holy Prophet. بمحمد 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 بعلي 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 بفاطمة 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 بالحسن 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 بالحسن. Everyone with the loudest of your voices. بالحسين بالحسين بالحسين. Ya Allah, we ask you to forgive us, to accept the little we are offering in these nights, to forgive us and show us the path, the true path, the path of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, the path where Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman will be pleased with us following, and accept all that we offer in these nights and the last of our prayers. And alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wa sallallahu ala rasulihi Muhammad wa ali baytihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin.